this year, Freeze is online. So I would like to know what is your strategy to adapt to this new offer.
I brought works that are mainly translating well on a screen because obviously art fairs are really international, and there wouldn't be art fairs if it didn't bring people from all over the world. So I'm aware that people will be looking at my virtual booth from all over. All over the place, from China, from the US, from other places in Europe.
And you told me
So
that only 20% of your collectors are from Britain, right?
yeah, Britain, probably has less of a collecting culture in a way than somewhere like the US. And so therefore it's only natural that historically they just haven't done it as much. Although you do have in the UK some of the most important museums in Europe or in the world.
And
So
also it's a platform for international collectors too, living there, right?
there's a lot of people from all over the place that live here. We have people from, name every continent. So yeah, London still remains a really important place, and Freeze have done a very good job in terms of promoting the fair, providing quite a good online platform to present the work, and also they've done things around the city like little performances and sculpture exhibitions where artists can be shown, but in a sort of safer context.
And
The
so,
idea.
what is your offer about when you speak about
I'm showing. Well, we've had literally two fairs back to back because we had the Art Basel Contemporary last week, and we've had Freeze right now. So I split the two. I split the. I split my artists in two. So in the Freeze Art Fair, I'm presenting a couple of paintings by Shara Hughes, who is an American painter who's about to do a show in France at the Consortium in Dijon, a big solo show. And Shara is, this is an image of the painting that I'm presenting in the.
Wow, it's very Gauguin, huh?
Yeah, very colorful. And sorry, I don't have I'm not a tech savvy person, so I'm not prepared for the presentation. But it's a work that was made during the George Floyd killing, and it's called Calm Chaos, the work. And it's all red because it was made in the summer, but it was also reflecting to the anger and the bloodshed and the fact that it was very hot. And Shara's work is she paints in genres, in series. So this one I just showed you as a landscape. And she's made interiors and she's made flower paintings. Now, all these three genres are genres that art historically have been associated with women. Women have always been known to paint interiors, flowers, and
where does she live? Where does she live? Where does she live?
She lives in Brooklyn, and what she does is that she uses these genres to almost as repositories for her emotions. She's never seen that landscape. She's never looked at the flower that she's painting. It's out of memory. And anyway, so she's a really particular artist. You can probably associate her through the work of Josh Smith, Anne Craven, artists that paint in genres, but their relationship to the genre is not particularly invested or emotional in the way that we think it would be. So I'm bringing her.
And how old is she?
She's around 40.
And what are the prices for her paintings?
That work, well, I can give you her range. The range goes from 35,000 to $150,000.
And she So the show will exist at Consortium one day or not?
It's in November. It's happening
Okay.
in November.
Okay. And did she have recent show in other places?
She's yes, she did. Oh my God. Well, she recently had a show in my gallery.
Okay.
She had a show with me in March, and the show that she's doing at the consortium is going to travel to Luzerne at the Museum of Contemporary Art there, and Kunsthaus, I think it's called Kunsthaus Luzerne. And she's recently also exhibited a series of drawings in Munich.
And some collectors, some influential collectors are following her already?
Yes, there's a very big demand for the work, and we are mainly we're concentrating on placing the work in institutions and then in good private collectors. So the work has, it's
because the price is already strong, right?
She's not a young artist, and she's already had a history, and therefore it should be. I mean, it's the right place for her prices.
And what do you think of the prices now in this Corona period? The prices for contemporary art, primary market. Do you think price will stay at the same level?
Who knows? I think that we cannot be complacent. I think that the world is changing every day, and so I believe that some parts of, I mean, the art market is holding up. Obviously, it's not going to disappear. And however, the auctions have been relatively strong in online, and good pieces are always in demand.
And how did it work at Art Basel Contemporary?
We sold well. I mean, I've been quite lucky in the sense that my gallery has been doing well during these past few months. So in a way, I feel I don't know, I've done something right, but who knows whether what I'm doing is right for the next 6 months? You know, we don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, in the fair, I'll be bringing work like Shara. I'll be bringing work of Tala Madani.
Okay, Tala Madani. Good.
Who's also a painter.
She's going to show at Palais de Tokyo, I think.
She is going to show at the Palais de Tokyo.
End of October.
This is her painting. It's called Spectral Disco.
And I saw a show in Vienna too.
She had a show at the Vienna Secession, and she also is going to do a retrospective at the Museum of Contemporary Art in Los Angeles later next year.
And what are the prices for her paintings?
Her paintings start around, I would say, $40,000 and go up to $250,000. And the painting that I'm showing now is it's quite a large work, and it's called Spectral Disco. And the painting is about a little baby walking in the middle of a nightclub.
And I've been told that she had recently a baby, right?
Yeah, but this is really about the political situation. So it's this idea that these ghosts are dancing around this baby in a floor that is it's not stable. Like it feels like there's an abyss underneath the baby. The only thing that's well defined is this baby, and around is like light, like color, but it gives no light. There's ghosts, and it's almost like she was very much looking at the idea of the lockdown, where everything is disembodied, but also the idea of these ghosts. They're not friendly, and the way that the current political situation has allowed a lot of very negative things that were lying underneath the surface in the world, in our society, to come up and to show their ugly faces.
And what is the evolution of the prices for Tala Madani?
Well, Tala's shown extensively in institutions throughout her career, which started when she was very young. So the prices have just steadily gone up in the past 15 years. I mean, we don't raise prices unless the artist has had a good career and a good CV.
And
So
so 5 years
therefore,
ago, you were already following her?
she was one of my first artists, her and Philippe Perreno.
Wow, not bad.
Yeah,
And
I
so
even
and
had a
so five
gallery.
years
Huh?
ago, 5 years ago, what was her prices?
Oh my God, I don't know. I'm not very good at these.
But like 30%
I
less, you think?
I would say that a work that is now, let's say 180,000, 5 years ago might have been 120, or 100,000.
Okay.
So I'm bringing Tala Madani. So these are two painters that are they're very different kinds of painters. Shara started a bit later than Tala, but they're kind of following similar trajectories. Their subject matter is very different. And I have another painter called Cedric Chisholm, who's very, very young. And his work, let me just find it, is about the origins of racism. And so he looks. Sorry, I'm very. This is called. Well, it's not. It hasn't got a title, but this is the painting.
Ah.
And he's going to do his first show with me in February next year. And he looks at 19th century literature, he looks at religious writings, he looks at the history of the Civil War, American history, and he paints these science fictional paintings about what if history had gone in another way and we were in a different reality.
And do you think that there's a comeback to tradition, to figurative paintings in this period of insecurity?
We have both, I think. I think that there's figuration in painting. There's also, I mean, I just happened to show you three painters just because it's easy for me to show them to you on a screen. But I think that there's everything. I mean, I'm showing also an amazing film by Philippe Perreno in my online viewing room called The Crowd. It's the very last edition that I have available. It was a work that was first premiered at the Armory Show in 2018 and at the Armory Park Avenue solo show. And this work is, I thought The Crowd is an appropriate thing to be showing today.
What's the range of prices? Could you give us an idea of the price?
The prices of his films are between 300 to 400,000 euros. Now the Crowd is about attention. I'll show you some images. This is an installation shot.
Okay.
And this is a still. So this work is about attention and about how through having the attention of the public through a film or an exhibition, you can show acts of resistance because you can communicate with them or they lose themselves in thought. Obviously, this can go either way. Because it can be quite controlling, and we're living this today in terms of the way that the media is controlling the way people think. It can be about propaganda, but it's also, this film is very much about exhibition as well, about the belief in the power of art and the way that art can make people think and change. So, and it's also about being together.
And why do you think you said you were recently quite successful in terms of business, so why do you think people are are still buying art in this period or buying art from you?
I may sound very cliche, but I think art has always been very, very important throughout history. And so, because there's a pandemic, all the more reason to look at art. I mean, when something is going on in your life and you need to reflect, what do? You might read a book, listen to music, look at art. And I think that it's a place of respite. It's a place of reflection, and therefore we have to continue doing what we do.
But it's difficult, right?
It's different. I think that it's working on a screen is quite one-dimensional. It's absolutely fantastic to go and see real live shows, and I have to say that the museums and the gallery here in London are full. Like, we have our time slots, and the time slots are always full.